Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Gladiator 2 has done surprisingly well at the box office. Internationally, anyway. You can see the report here from Deadline. And it is a surprise. I'm not going to lie, I was quite surprised to hear this. Not that I wanted this movie to do especially badly. Like, I don't particularly care about it. I don't think it needs to exist. But I am surprised. I am surprised. I'm more surprised to hear, actually, that this is the best start for a Ridley Scott movie. Interesting. Interesting. Again, I don't particularly think this movie needs to exist. I think, sure, fine. I think turning Gladiator into like a franchise is a bad idea. But this is the world we live in. So let's take a look, right? This has actually done surprisingly well. Surprisingly well. $87 million in overseas bow. It's not really that good when you break it down. Because it's only... Well, it was released in 63 international markets. So with $87 million across 63... It's not amazing. It's not amazing, is it? You know? It's not like incredible stuff. It's fine. Like it averages out over 10 million a market. But you need it to be doing way more than that to be a success. This movie reportedly had a budget of like $300 odd million. Which, I mean, is insane. That is a staggering budget. It shouldn't have that kind of budget. That's mad. Especially considering, again, when you hear that $87 million is the best that Ridley Scott's ever done as an opening weekend, right? You think that someone's given him $300+ million to work with. That $87 million is his opening best. That's crazy. That's crazy business sense. So, like I said, we'll just take a look, right? And hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Turn the bell notifications on. But basically, look, storming 63 international box office markets in its opening frame. And before domestic enters the arena this coming week, Paramount and Ridley Scott's Gladiator 2 has debuted to an estimated, it's pretty close for it to be honest, $87 million. It's not bad. It also marks the biggest overseas start for a Ridley Scott directed film, as well as Paramount's best offshore bow for a US R-rated movie. Didn't realise it was R-rated, but I guess it should be, being a Gladiator film. So heading back to the Coliseum, 24 years after Best Picture Oscar winner Gladiator reinvented the swords and sandals genre, this sequel was #1 in major markets. Amazingly, and I think this is pretty good to be honest, the UK took #1 spot for the overseas market. $11.4 million. Only across 722 locations, which is not, there's not many locations. There's a lot of sort of cinemas in the UK shutting down at the moment, theatres closing. Sadly, it's just not the market for it. You know, Hollywood keeps producing crap, so that's good. Like all things considered, that's good. That's a very, very good thing. So that's great. Like I'm happy with that because that shows that the markets are improving slightly for theatrical release now. And it's not that the market's improving; it's that the movies are improving. Therefore, the market responds. It's kind of like that, basically. But if that stops theatres shutting down, then I'm all ears. I'm happy about that because I don't want theatres to die. I like theatres. I like the theatrical release. And I am surprised that it did so much in the UK. You know, $11.4 million is great. I think that's solid. That's a very respectable opening weekend in the UK. And then France again, 10.3 million. Like I said, it sort of averages about, you know, just over the 10 million per location, right? So obviously you're going to see a lot of this about the same, right? France 10.3, which again from very little sites, 729. It goes to show when you talk about domestic market being the US, when you talk about the domestic market being the most potential for profit, it's because of the sheer volume of theatres. Thousands of theatres. These other countries don't have that many. France, 729. Again, the UK was what, 722. It's not a lot. You know, these are quite small locations by comparison to the States, which is huge. And that's why if a movie doesn't respond very well in the domestic market, States, it tends not to do very well overseas because there's just not enough. There's not enough theatres to propel it, you know, to a success. So yeah, France did okay. Again, I say okay, it did well. You know, Spain 5.6 from 411, Australia 4.9 from 353, and Mexico with 4.7 from 922. This is important though. That's the exchange rate, by the way, obviously. Germany 4.3, not that great, 650 locations. Italy 3.8 with 530. And then you had Korea 3.2, 545. Again, that's probably exchange rate. Brazil 3 million. Again, exchange rate 759. So pretty decent, right? And it has got a China release, but it hasn't released in China. So this will potentially do okay. Amazingly. Which is weird to say that this film might actually end up being a success. Because again, its budget was just, well, insane. Genuinely insane as a budget. Especially when you compare, you know, the budget of the first one, the box office of the first one, the market of the first one was slightly different. So, you know, the first one was released in a time where it would have made hundreds of millions of dollars, roughly, you know, probably $100 odd million, maybe even more, on home video release. You know, you could buy it for VHS probably, I think, back in those days. DVD, Blu-ray. Then it would have had the secondary markets where it was sold to be then shown on TV, as well as, you know, when you could rent. You could go rent a movie. That was a thing back in those days. Again, crazy to think. For you people watching this that have never experienced those things, it's crazy for me to say. I feel old. So this has actually done reasonably well. Do I think it's going to turn a profit? I don't know. Who knows? It's not the same market. You know, that sort of home theatrical release is just not the same. With budget rumoured to be in the $300 million range. It needs over $600 million to break even. I mean, this is quite... It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot going against it. But we'll see. I don't think it needs to exist. I need to go watch it. But I've been busy this weekend. So I will go and watch it and tell you guys what I think of it. But there you go. If you've seen it, what did you what did you think? Let me know down below. And do you care? Because there's going to be a third one, apparently. So there you go. Anyway, hit subscribe if you're new here. Give your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.